Hey everyone, this is Dr. Steve Orma, and today what I want to talk about is why sleep hygiene doesn't work for getting rid of insomnia. So, what I want to start with first is what is sleep hygiene? So, if you Google insomnia or how to overcome insomnia, most of what's going to come up, 99% of what's going to come up all over the internet on most every website, whether it's WebMD or Healthline or Mayo Clinic, is what's called sleep hygiene. And these are things like reducing, coffee intake, get rid of, caffeine or coffee, don't drink alcohol. This is things like changing your environment. That might be, making your room colder, darker, and reducing sound. It could be things like wearing an eye shade or using a sound machine or a chili pad for your bed. This includes exercise during the day or getting sunlight exposure. So basically, what sleep hygiene is a collection of lifestyle changes, things that you're changing in your life, consumption things, or things in your environment. So they're essentially external things that you're doing in your lifestyle to help your sleep at night. And these are also like if you go to your doctor, your regular doctor, and you say, I'm having sleep problems or I have insomnia. This is also outside of medication. They will tell you to do these sleep hygiene things. This is also if you go to most therapists or psychologists or counselors and tell them you're having problems sleeping, they will also, tell you to do sleep hygiene or give you like a one sheet handout that describes all these things that I just went over. And the problem is that none of these will eliminate insomnia. None of these work for insomnia. And so what I want to talk about today is why that is. And also why are they so widely recommended when they don't work? So let's answer that second question first. Why is sleep hygiene so recommended if it doesn't work? Well, the main reason is two things. Number one, most doctors are not trained in sleep. Like most medical doctors get maybe 30 minutes or an hour training in sleep their entire time they're in medical school in their medical training, which is crazy. Since sleep is like what we do a third of our life. It's critical to our health. It affects every system in our body, and yet they get 1 hour of sleep training. And it's the same thing with therapists and psychologists. As I've shared before, for myself, when I went through my grad school training, 6 years of training, I received zero training in sleep. Other than that sleep hygiene, we were given the one sheet handout that we could hand to our clients, which doesn't work. So that's really, I think, the number one. And then, of course, the media, the internet, they just get that from the doctors. The doctors say this is what you do. The media gets that from them, and then they just blast it all over the internet. And so that's why it's so widely recommended. The other reason is the really effective treatment for insomnia that actually works, which I've talked about several times, in these videos. Most doctors don't know about it. They've never heard of it before. They certainly haven't been trained in it, and so therefore, of course, they're not recommending it. So that's kind of the major problem there is in this area of sleep or insomnia in this country and really worldwide, because this is a problem that's worldwide, and why this problem is so widespread and not being treated effectively. Now, why doesn't sleep hygiene work? All these things sound good, right? I mean, like, what's the problem with exercising and sunlight exposure during the day, and making your bedroom and your bed comfortable and quiet, and reducing your alcohol intake, right? Those all sound great, right? I mean, and they are. So sleep hygiene is good. These are good things to do. But once you have insomnia, the sleep hygiene won't do anything. And the analogy that I use for this is dental hygiene. Okay, so what is dental hygiene? Well, dental hygiene is like brushing your teeth every day or a couple times a day, flossing, going to the dentist, a few times each year for a checkup and getting a cleaning. But, and that's great. If your teeth are healthy, dental hygiene will help maintain them, will help keep them as healthy as possible and prevent things like cavities and other problems with your teeth over time. So it's dental hygiene is a way to maintain healthy teeth and also a way to prevent, negative things from happening to your teeth over time, so you can like maintain healthy teeth over the course of your lifetime. But once you have a cavity, once you have a problem in your gums, all the brushing and flossing and checkups not going to do anything, right? You could brush all day long every day. Once you have a cavity, it's not going to do anything for the cavity because the tooth is destroyed, or at least that part of the tooth is destroyed. And what you have to go do is go to the dentist and address the root of the problem, which is usually removing the tooth or removing a part of the tooth and putting a filling. Okay, you got to go much more drastic and deep than just brushing your teeth or flossing. Okay, so if you think about insomnia as like a cavity in your sleep, that once you have insomnia, which is a pattern of poor sleep, and I described this in the last video, like what exactly is insomnia? How is it different than just a few poor nights of sleep? Once you have a pattern of insomnia set in your sleep system, and there's been this shift in your physiology, the sleep hygiene won't work because it's like a cavity. It's a problem that's set into your system, and the sleep hygiene, it does nothing to affect it at all. Okay, so this is why when you try all these things out, it doesn't work, and usually it makes the problem worse because it makes you more frustrated, it makes you more anxious and worried because you think, well, I'm doing everything that the doctors are telling me, I'm doing everything I find on the internet and WebMD, and I mean, there must be something wrong with me. I must have lost my ability to sleep, or maybe I'm not trying hard enough. So you try harder, which of course makes your sleep worse. And it just adds to that cycle of frustration and anxiety and worry and fear around your sleep, which just reinforces the insomnia. So it ends up feeding into the problem, the sleep hygiene, instead of making it better. So what should you do instead? Well, the main problem with sleep hygiene and why it doesn't work is it's really just addressing things you're doing the day in your life, like are you exercising or not? Are you getting outside or not? Are you eating certain foods or not? Are you drinking, are you controlling your alcohol intake or your caffeine intake? And again, all those things are good, but they're all behaviors you're doing during the day, or they're external factors that you're changing, like you're changing you're making your room really dark, or you're making your room temperature really cool, or you're putting soundproofing in so you have a quieter room. These are all external things. The problem is insomnia is an internal problem. It's a problem within your mind and within your body, in your sleep system, in your actual physiology that's thrown off. And so all these external things aren't going to do anything to change that. And what needs to actually change is your behaviors around your sleep itself, right? So the sleep hygiene isn't really changing any of your behaviors around your sleep. It's just changing the environment, or it's changing your behavior during the day. But to get to the root of insomnia, you need to change your behaviors around your sleep and your frame of mind around your sleep. So the two core things that cause insomnia and maintain insomnia are what are called negative sleep thoughts. That's worry, anxiety, fear, frustration around the sleep or the effects of your sleep. So that might be like, oh my God, I've lost my ability to sleep. Am I going to be able to sleep tonight? What if I don't get enough sleep? I won't be able to function tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm never going to get over this. What the hell is wrong with me? Those are negative sleep thoughts that fuel anxiety and frustration and fear and create a lot of stress around the sleep. Then those negative sleep thoughts feed into wanting to try to solve the problem. which leads to you changing your behaviors around the sleep itself. Because the tendency is our sleep, if there's a problem with the sleep, we're freaking out about it and we want to make it better. We want to improve it. And so we start changing our behaviors around our sleep. We start sleeping in. We start going to bed early to get more sleep. We start spending too much time in the bed awake, trying harder to sleep. We start taking medication. We start taking supplements. We start practicing sleep hygiene. And none of these things work, and they usually make the sleep worse and actually set the insomnia in. It has the opposite effect. It makes the insomnia grow stronger and worse, which then, what do you think, leads to more negative sleep thoughts, because your sleep is not getting better, it's getting worse, and you're getting more anxious and more frustrated, which makes you try harder. And this is what I call the insomnia cycle, which just feeds itself. And then it just becomes a pattern. Then the insomnia just becomes like a habit in your sleep system. And now it's just going on its own. And then that cycle just continues until it's broken. Okay? So what needs to change is those two things that initially caused the insomnia and that are maintaining it and feeding it right now. And that is the negative sleep behaviors, those thoughts and worries in your mind, and the poor sleep behaviors. A set of behaviors, like actual things you're doing around your sleep. That might be before bed. That might be when you're in the bed having trouble sleeping. That might be, anything related to your behaviors around your sleep at night, from the time you go to bed to the time you wake up. Those are the things that are actually creating the insomnia. And those are the two things that are not addressed. Like if you change your diet, or you reduce alcohol, or you reduce your caffeine, like I said, that's good, but that doesn't change how you're thinking about your sleep. And that doesn't change your behaviors around the sleep itself. If you change your environment in your room, you make it cooler, you make it darker, you make it quieter, great, but you're still you. It's within you. So even though you have a cooler room, you still have the insomnia inside you. You still haven't changed your actual behaviors around your sleep. You've only changed the external environment. Okay, so this is the problem. And this is why when you try sleep hygiene and any of these things that under the umbrella of sleep hygiene, it doesn't work. It makes the problem worse. And then you just become more hopeless and sort of worried about your sleep. So number one, this is good to know. Like I'm making this video so like, stop trying these things. They seem like they make sense, right? But because if you think of the cavity analogy that I gave earlier, it makes a lot of sense that once you have a cavity and your tooth is rotten, right, in a certain place, you can't make that tooth suddenly better by just, rubbing a toothbrush over it or flossing, right? You actually have to go in to the root. Now with sleep, we don't have to, do any kind of surgery or anything to get rid of insomnia, but you do need to go to the root. And in this case, the root is the mind, right? The negative sleep thoughts, and then the behaviors. Primarily, it's the behaviors that are causing the problem, and it's the negative sleep thoughts that just feed into the behaviors. So we need to address both, but primarily it's 90% changing your behaviors, your actions, your like the actual practices that you go about when you sleep each night. And you need to know what to do that will break the pattern of insomnia, and you need to know what not to do and remove that. And once you do those two things and you address the mindset and a few other components, which are really important as well, that is what over time will break the insomnia, because now we're getting into the root and we're not just trying to zap it with these external things that have no effect. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions about this, if you have other questions about your sleep, please let me know what you thought about the video, if you found it valuable, and put comments below. If you like the video and you want more videos like this, click the like button, and you can also subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be alerted each time that I make a new video. And then let me know if you have other questions about insomnia or your sleep that you want me to address in future videos, because I want to make these videos valuable to you. And the more I know kind of what you're struggling with, or what what you want to know about that could be helpful, then I can make the videos, more valuable for you. Okay. So have a good rest of your day, and I will see you the next time.